Next topic is about pollution control technology for coal-based power plant. Environmental pollution by thermal power plant is more than other power plants. Air pollution is caused by thermal power plant is very high by burning fuels like coal. Combustible elements of fuel are converted into gaseous product. Non-combustible elements to ash. Normally, the power plant has high sulfur content coal and it must be removed before burnt. Some sulfur oxides and the fly ash will be removed by coal washing. Some of the emissions are given here. Gaseous emission. So, the emission is in the form of gaseous state. Sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide and carbon monoxide. Then next emission, particulate. So dust of dia 1 micron, particles, mixed structure like smoke, fumes, fly ash, cinders of dia 10 micron. Solid waste emission, which in the state of ash, calcium and magnesium salts. Then thermal pollution, so discharge of thermal energy into water. So these are all the emissions of steam power plants. Next, how to remove sulfur dioxide. So by using wet scrubber we can able to remove the oxides of sulfur. So polluted gas is sent into the scrubber tangentially. Water spray absorb these gases and particulate matters. It is collected on the surface of the scrubber or washed down by water. The water again treated, filtered and reused. Used to remove the particulate matters. Here the gas are cooled. They must be reheated before being sent to the stack. The used water contains sulfuric and sulfurous acid which corroded the pipeline and scrubber. So this is the schematic diagram of wet scrubber. So in this block diagram we can able to see so dirty gas inlet, so which enters into the system in tangential motion. So through this we can able to remove the oxides of sulfur by using wet scrubber. Next, pollution control technology for coal based power plants. So emission of oxides of nitrogen. The combustion of fossil fuel in air is accomplished by the formation of nitric oxide, which is subsequently partly oxides to nitrogen oxide. Oxides of nitrogen present in stack gases from coal, oil and gas furnaces. Method to reduce the emission of oxides of nitrogen. Reduction of residence period in combustion zone. Reduction of temperature in combustion zone. Through these we can able to reduce the emission of oxides of nitrogen. Next, particulate emission and its control. So dust particle of 1 micron which do not settle down. Then next, particles with dia 10 microns which settle down to the ground. So emission of particles, smoke, stable suspension of particles so are visible of dia 10 microns. Then next one is fumes, very small particles which is obtained from chemical reaction. It is composed of metals and metallic oxides. Then next emission particle is fly ash. Diameter less than or equal to 100 microns are said to be fly ash. Then last one is cinders. Diameters of particles are more than or equal to 100 microns are come under cinders. Next, cinder catchers. The performance parameter for any particulate remover is called the collector efficiency. So collector efficiency is nothing but ratio between mass of dust removed to the mass of dust present. So it should be calculated in percentage. So by stroker and small cyclone furnace we can able to eliminate the particulate, and by the means of centrifugal force also we can able to remove the particulate. Then collector efficiency varies from 50% to 90% by electrostatic precipitator. So more than 90% we can able to eliminate the particulate. Next, baghouse filter. Baghouse filter is used to remove the particulate matter where low sulfur coal is used. Filter is cleaned by applying a forced air in reverse direction. Large filter area required, so cost high. Lifetime period for 3 years. Coal firing system is used in baghouse filter. Next, electrostatic precipitator. The medium between the electrode is air, and due to high negativity of negative electrodes there may be corona discharge surrounded the negative electrode or wire mesh. The air molecules in the field between the electrode become ionized, and hence there will be plenty of free electron and ions in the space. The fuel gas enter into the electrostatic precipitator. Dust particles in the gases collide with the free electrons available in the medium between the electrodes, and the free electrons will be attached to the dust particles. As a result, the dust particles become negatively charged. Then these negatively charged particles will be attracted due to electrostatic force of the positive plates. Consequently, the charged dust particles move towards the positive plates and deposit on the positive plates. Here, the extra electron for the dust particles will be removed on positive plates, and the particles then fall due to gravitational force. We call the positive plates as collecting plates. The fuel gases, after traveling through the electrostatic precipitator, become almost free from ash particles and ultimately get discharged to the atmosphere through the chimney. Next, solid waste disposal. Large amount of ash is formed by burning the coal in the furnace. This ash is removed as bottom ash from furnace. From discharged solid waste, calcium and magnesium salt can be generated by absorption of SO2 and SO3 by reactant like lime soda. Next topic is about thermal pollution. Discharge of thermal energy into water is called thermal pollution. Water is the main medium to condense the steam. If this heated water is discharged into the lakes or river, the water temperature goes up. At about 35 degrees Celsius, the dissolved oxygen will be low, that the aquatic life will die. As per regulation, 1 degree Celsius more than the atmospheric temperature acceptable. In very cold region, discharging the hot water into lakes helps in increasing fish growth. So thermal discharge index estimate the thermal efficiency of the plant. So simply say as TDI. So thermal discharge index is nothing but ratio between thermal power discharge to environment in megawatt thermal to electrical power output in megawatt electrical. Method to reduce thermal pollution: construction of a separate lake. Once through cooling the condenser is adopted. If natural cooling of water from the lake is not sufficient means floating spray pump can be employed, but it will be expensive. Next, cooling pond. A cooling pond with continuously operating fountains can be adopted. Aesthetic look in the power plant. Next one is cooling tower. In order to throw heat to atmosphere, most power stations use cooling towers. Next topic is about nuclear fuel cell. First one is mining. Depending on the depth and concentration of the uranium source and the conditions of the surrounding rock, mining companies will extract uranium ore in one of three ways: open pit mining, underground mining, or in-situ recovery. So next topic is milling. To extract the uranium, the ore is crushed in a mill and ground to a fine slurry. The slurry is then leached in sulfuric acid, which produces a solution of uranium oxide. This concentrate of solution is called yellow cake. Next topic is refining. A series of chemical processes separate the uranium from impurities, producing high purity uranium trioxide. And then next one is conversion. So uranium trioxide is converted to uranium dioxide for use in heavy water reactor, uranium trioxide to uranium hexafluoride for enrichment before it can be used in light water reactors. Then next topic is enrichment or gas centrifugation. So uranium 235 is the uranium isotope that can be used in fission, but it makes up only 0.7% of naturally occurring enrichment processes. Increase the concentration of uranium 235 to about 3% to 5%. After undergoing enrichment, the uranium hexafluoride is chemically transformed back into uranium dioxide powder. Then fuel manufacturing. Natural or enriched uranium dioxide powder is pressed into a small cylindrical pellets, which are then baked at high temperature and finished to precious dimensions. Electricity generation. Fuel is loaded into a reactor and nuclear fission generates electricity. After fuel is consumed, it is removed from the reactor and stored on site for a number of years while its radioactivity and heat subside. Optional chemical reprocessing. After a period of storage, residual uranium or byproducts plutonium, both of which are still useful sources of energy, and recovered from the spent fuel elements and reprocessed. Next topic is disposal. Depending on the design of disposal facility, the nuclear fuel may be recovered in needed again or remain permanently stored. At some point in the future, the spent fuel will be encapsulated in stud, leach resistant container and permanently placed deep underground where it originated.